has already been reached 5 years early. Our attention now turns to the inflationary scenario, $8,900 by decade end. And in my view, this is no longer the outlier case. Looking further out, our new In Gold We Trust gold allocation 2045 model points to up to $20,800 per ounce and a global gold market cap of 210 trillion by the end of 2045. Now let me leave you with one observation. China is playing Go. Patient, strategic, focused on encirclement. The United States is playing poker, bluff, leverage, and the occasional all-in. And Europe is still on the table, having translated the rules into 24 languages, commissioned an impact assessment, and convened an ethics advisory board, while the others have long since cleared the chips. Gold, meanwhile, isn't playing any of these games. Gold is doing what gold has always done, holding its place. 20 editions in, the In Gold We Trust report remains your trusted guide through the gold world. Thank you for being part of this journey and for engaging with theses and concepts that even now sit far outside the mainstream. To prepare for the future of money, one must first return to its past. So welcome back to the monetary future. Or, in 4 words, in gold we trust.
Staying tuned and listening to that brief topic on how the gold has actually shaped the current monetary future. And we are just going to segue back into the presentation for today that is talking about how the mining value chain works from upstream, midstream, and downstream perspectives. Just basically understand what each sector plays as a role if you are trying to get into the mining industry as a first individual, or you want to know how Dukia Gold has actually done its course or played its part in navigating these various sectors all through the day. As always, our presentations are covered by disclaimer that you are going to use forward-looking statements, and in any investment decision that you're actually going to take, you have to actually consult an investment advisor. Now, these on your screen is actually the team that actually coordinates the Dukia Gold project, the whole emphasis of Dukia Gold. You've heard from the chairman, the managing director, the chief operating officer, and all other directors that actually make sure that these presentations hold in earnest. So what are we going to be talking about? Just basically giving explanation or perspective to what the upstream sector is, and concerning the exploration, the extraction, the mine design and development. Next, we're going to talk about the midstream, what it takes to actually carry out midstream activities in the mining industry, from processing to transport to logistics to regulatory compliance and quality assurance. Next, we're going to move towards the downstream, where it actually takes the finished products and gives it to you, the investor, or you, the entity, or you, the organization, or you, the family member, or you, the brother or the sister that actually creates a perspective for you to actually do. Next, we're going to talk about the integration across the whole value chain, how the flow of materials, stakeholder dependencies and bottlenecks, ESG, and the strategic implication for stakeholders and investors. Then we're going to conclude, take some Q&A and actually give forward the essence of this presentation. To usher us in formally into the business of the day, I'm hereby going to invite the managing director to actually give a welcome address. Mbima, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this month's edition of our wealth management seminars. Our seminar this month focuses on a topic that further defines who we are, which is understanding the mining value chain, upstream, midstream, and downstream perspectives. As you all know, we trade gold, but we are a mines to market organization. And so this month we'll be taking you back to how gold actually comes to be in existence in terms of how is it mined, how is it processed, until the point where everyone sees it and invests in it. So it promises to be a very interesting one and insightful for us all. As a true mines to market company, we believe that just talking to you about the one aspect of the business does not give the full picture. And so today we will try to provide you better insight into this, which is show you that it's not just about how wealth is extracted from the ground, but we also manage it at every step. And what do we do to ensure that you have access to it? So this session will highlight exactly how we capture and protect the value from geology and extraction upstream through refining, which is the midstream, and straight to our digital gold platform, which is then the downstream that you are all aware of. We're hosting this today at an incredibly exciting turning point, and I'm thrilled to announce that we have officially begun our journey into active mining. We have our equipment in country, and so installation and everything. And by the grace of God, in July, active mining will commence, and we will truly be able to provide to you gold mined in Nigeria and processed in Nigeria, toll refined anyway for now outside the country, but it will be our truly mined gold, gold that is mined in Nigeria and for Nigerians. Thank you, everyone. Our digital platform continues to provide you access to the investment, and I'm glad that we've all listened to the video today. Chairman will speak more about what we all heard in the In Gold We Trust video, and putting it all in context. And then at the end of this, we would ask you would, as usual, be able to ask all the questions that you have from the video, from the presentations that will come, and from even the further insights that the chairman will provide. I thank you all for joining us, and we truly, truly appreciate your presence, your constant patronage, and we look forward to building even a bigger future together. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the seminar. I will now hand over to Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma, for that opening remark. And straight away, we are going to head further down into the presentation and the business of the day. Thank you very much, Ma, for that opening remark. Okay, first and foremost, what is the mining value chain? And the mining value chain comprises of three basic segments. Now, some of you may have heard these terms used in reference to the oil and gas industry, but it's generally actually used to the extractive industries, the industries that focus on taking raw materials out of the ground, processing them, and giving them a final end use. And the first basic consideration of that is the upstream sector. And the upstream encompasses the exploration, the estimation, and the extraction of raw materials from the ground up. So the upstream sector is the most cost-intensive and is the most knowledge-intensive of all the whole segments of the mining value chain, because they're going to put in a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of risks to actually get your resources from the ground. Now, the midstream sector is actually the processing, refining, and the logistics. They are now transforming the raw ore into market-ready commodities while ensuring that it meets international standards. Next is the downstream sector. There's no use extracting raw materials from the ground if you're not actually delivering a final value to the end user. So the downstream sector involves the marketing, the trading, and the delivery of the refined products to manufacturers, investors, and end users. And Dukia Gold has, let me say, formerly been known as a downstream player, but we are way, way more than that, even though most people actually come in contact with Dukia Gold through our trading platform, which is a part of the downstream industry. And together, these three stages, from upstream to midstream to downstream, provide a complete view of how minerals move from discovery to market. Now let's enter the upstream. What does the upstream look like? The upstream involves all activities that relate to the identification, the evaluation, and the extraction of raw materials from the ground. It is the foundation of the entire mining operations because both the quantity, both the quality, both the intensity, and both the knowledge and the cost of extracted ore directly influences the efficiency, the profitability of that material that is extracted. And one of the bedrock of the upstream sector is the exploration. Exploration begins with geologists and mining engineers using a combination of techniques to potentially locate the mineral deposits in the ground. It's not enough to actually think you have either gold or lithium or bauxite or aluminum or zinc from the ground. You have to actually take the professional experts, geologists and mining engineers, and all the other professional tools to actually locate these resources from the ground. First thing, you do your geological mapping. You understand the rock formations, the fault lines, the lineaments, all the structures that actually compose of that operation. Then you do your remote sensing, your satellite imagery to assess the terrain of that area and identify the anomalous areas that actually proven to hold the potential for that mineralization. Next, you are going to do a lot of geophysical signatures from magnetic to radiometric to actually detect these elements. Then next, you're going to do a lot of geochemical sampling, including soil, rock, and water analysis to actually influence and detect where these minerals are located. And one thing, because of these steps, from actually the mapping to the remote sensing to geophysical and geochemical signatures, because of all these steps they are going to actually go through to actually find those minerals in the ground, it makes the upstream sector the most expensive of all the sectors. Because they're going to, not that I'm not trying to diminish the cost used in midstream and downstream, but it is required, the upstream sector requires very highly skilled personnel and sophisticated equipment to actually reduce the risks of uneconomic discoveries. And for Nigeria, one of the most important players in the upstream sector for the mining industry is the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency. It's called like the geoscientific intelligence of Nigeria because it reduces the risks of geological uncertainty and it creates the foundation knowledge required for investing and mining development. As you all know, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, regulates the upstream sector for the oil and gas. So the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency is the geoscientific knowledge of every mineral deposit located in Nigeria. Mining companies may drill and extract materials, but the bedrock of NGSA shows where the geological foundation exists. It actually pinpoints where to look. It actually pinpoints what may exist and where opportunities are likely to emerge in the whole Nigerian mining value chain. And most importantly, for the upstream sector, apart from doing the geophysical, geochemical, and remote sensing analysis, you have to actually identify the drilling to quantify how much minerals are located. It's not enough to say, okay, gold is located in this particular area. How much of it is actually there? And the best way to know these places is using drilling and sampling methods, either diamond core drilling, which retrieves cylindrical rock samples, or reverse circulation drilling, which is going to give you rock chips, or alluvial or placer sampling, which is going to give you the gold-bearing gravels. With all these drilling methods in place, we are just trying to actually give you a sense, a quantity of what actually minerals is there. Now, the difference between the reverse circulation drilling and diamond core drilling is that reverse circulation, the core samples can crumble and it's going to make it unusable by the lab. But for diamond core drilling, you are going to actually see the mineralization, the topography, the lithology, and every other perspective that actually shapes what quantity of mineral is actually located in that area. And of course, you should know that the diamond core drilling is way, way, way more expensive than reverse circulation drilling because of the depth of information you can get from it. But after your diamond core drilling, it doesn't stop there. You have to now do the resource and reserve calculations, calculating the total amount of metal in the ground and expressing it from inferred to indicated to measured resources in the same degree of geological certainty or uncertainty. So these calculations are based on predefined codes. If you are a geologist or you have a geology background, you should have heard of the GRC code or the National Instruments for 3101 code, or that for SAMREC or PARC. And these codes actually stipulate the standards on which metals in the grounds can be quantified, either with proven or probable reserves based on economic variability, based on the mining conditions, and based on the metallurgical discoveries. All these feasibility studies will analyze, okay, if I've gotten this amount of material in the ground, what is the best method to extract it? Am I going to get, for example, am I going to get 1,000 ounces by spending 1 billion naira? Or am I going to get 2,000 ounces by spending 998 million naira? So all these calculations actually come into place to actually give you a good sense of whether that resource is the best place to actually follow. From there, it doesn't stop there. You don't just go from exploration to drilling to resource calculations. You now have to now do the mine development. Now, you now have to get all your engineers in place, everybody, the infrastructure in place to actually build the mine. Are you trying to use an open pit mine? Are you trying to use an underground mining? Are you trying to use an alluvial mining? What are the safety considerations in place? What are the stakeholder engagements in place? Trying to give value to the asset that you have. So all these are actually calculated to make sure that your mine plan and development is actually up to date and is actually the best standard for you. Now, once you've done from extraction to the mine development, you actually now move to get the ore from the ground and prepare it for processing. As I said, your ore is first weighed, your ore is then sampled, your ore is then logged. You have to now measure the waste recovery rates, operational efficiency, safety performance, and monitor all these parameters to ensure that the ore that you're getting from the ground is actually economically and commercially viable for your operations. So these sectors in place, from your resource estimation to your drilling, to your mine development, to your extraction operations, all this actually gives you the best sense of how the upstream sector is the best and the most viable, the foundational piece of the entire mining value chain. The upstream sector determines the efficiency and the profitability of the midstream processing. If you fail in doing your upstream well, if you are a mining company or you are working for an entity that fails in doing your upstream exploration well, subsequent streams, both the midstream and the downstream, are going to have an issue. The upstreams carry the high technical risks, the high financial risks, and the high operational risks of the whole entity, because you have to do due diligence to make sure that it's not a hearsay in the field. It's actually proven by internationally recognized data. And who are the key stakeholders from the upstream sector? The most important key stakeholder is the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, that gives you the geological anomalies and discoveries across the whole entire Nigeria. And we have all the various entities like licensing companies, which is for giving licenses to mining organizations, which is the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office. We have the regulatory authorities. We have the host communities where the whole upstream exploration takes place. You have the laboratory and assay providers, you have the equipment manufacturers, you have the utility providers, construction contractors, mining financiers. You have every other thing that gives you the best perspective of how the mining value chain works and how you can actually give the best bets for your money. All these players are actually going to be a huge part of your upstream sector, giving you the best sense of how to actually get the resource from the ground. But it doesn't stop there. Once you've gotten the resource from the ground, you have to now, okay, how can I turn this resource into something valuable? and something further best for the end user to take it. And that is the essence of the midstream. The midstream bridges the gap between the raw mineral extraction and the market delivery. It focuses on transforming the ore in place under the earth into market-ready products. And one of the characteristics of the midstream sector is the ore processing and beneficiation, whereby the ore you actually get from the ground is actually processed and concentrated to valuable minerals, either using crushing, grinding, either using the effect of density to separate the materials, either using magnetic separation to separate minerals with magnetic properties, or either using chemical processes to actually concentrate specific elements of that whole material value chain. And the essence of ore processing and beneficiation is to just increase the grade of that ore that makes it suitable for further industrial use. And as I said, ore processing and beneficiation is one of the focus agendas of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, in turn that it wants every raw material gotten from Nigeria's entire ecosystem to be processed and beneficiated in Nigeria. And that's one of the forefronts of the ministry in giving perspective on how the whole midstream sector works. Others include smelting and refining. Either you're using heating the ore to high temperatures to extract the metal from its chemical compounds, or you're using electrolysis, like this picture shows, electrolysis in the actually processing of copper, or you're using leaching or chemical refinery. You're actually doing all these things to actually concentrate the value of that ore, making it from just the raw material into a semi-finished or finished product that can give you the best value for your time. Another aspect of the midstream sector is the logistics, because they have to move this ore to the refining sites, or move this to the regulatory authorities, or gather the ore in a way that actually gives value to its downstream industry, where you're actually coordinating with logistics operators, freight companies, and logistic providers, secure transportation systems, compliance with regulatory authorities. Just know that for the midstream sector to work effectively, efficient logistics must be in place so that you can deliver your goods on time, you can preserve the product integrity, and you can reduce the amount of losses you have across the industry. The next is quality assurance. Because you're going to be dealing with a lot of refining and processing entities, from either smelting to ore beneficiation to either leaching or to electrolysis, you have to make sure that all these entities, all these processes are done within the right regulatory standards. And where you have that, you have to actually use the sampling and testing to certify the grade and purity of the product. You have to use documentation for national and international regulatory authorities, and you have to adhere to environmental, health, and safety standards in processing plants and transport operations. The midstream sector adds substantial value to raw materials. It involves the way of actually refining a raw material from the earth, increasing its purity and grade, and standardizing that ore for commercial use. It reduces impurities of the ore, and it actually facilitates a very secure and effective market delivery to the end user. Just like the upstream sector carries a lot of operational and financial risks, the midstream operations actually carries that same risk, in the sense that during transporting of the ore from the extraction points to the processing site, there may be ore losses, there may be regulatory non-compliance, there may be delayed certifications. You may try to get a processing fee in one day, and unfortunately, you may get it in 1 week. There may be market volatility affecting the price of that commodity. There can be equipment failures in your processing plants. All these risks have to actually be secured and put in place in a way that the midstream sector for you can actually work best effectively. So, like I said, the upstream is exploring and extracting the mineral from the ground. The midstream is processing and transporting that mineral to the end user. And the key stakeholders for the midstream activities are the processing and refining plants, like the quality assurance and certification agencies, like the London Bullion Market Association, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, the International Organization for Standardization, and various other intermediaries and commodity traders, like the London Metal Exchange, Nigerian Commodities Exchange, and various insurance companies, to make sure that for processing and transporting of raw materials, it gives you the best bet for your time and money. Lastly, how do we get the raw materials from the ground, and how do we actually make commercial value from it? It involves the downstream industry, the marketing and the end use, whereby you, the investor, you, the bank, you, the owner, you, the family member, you, the government entity, can actually begin to gain value from that ore and get the full benefits from it. This involves the marketing and the end use. Number one aspect of the downstream industry is the commodity trade and sales. Once the minerals are refined and certified, they are prepared for sale in domestic or international markets. Whether the minerals are sold on commodity exchanges, and prices are determined based on global benchmarks, either using long-term offtake agreements, spot contracts, or streaming arrangements, making sure that you can actually generate revenue from that ore that you have gotten from the ground and processed. Now, it also involves downstream physical delivery of that commodity to industrial users, to investors, either transporting the commodity down from the refining agent to their clients, or vaulting it in a safe place, in a safe house, making sure that those valuable commodities are actually vaulted in a way that end users can actually be rest assured instead of keeping it in their homes. Or you integrate it to industrial uses. Either you sell it to jewelries, electronic companies, construction companies to actually use that refined ore to actually get value for their time, or either using it in investor markets. But in essence, you are just basically transferring that refined ore directly from where it was processed to the end user, and the various entities that make sure that that ore is actually transported and maintained will give you the best value for your time and your money. The downstream carries the financial and market value risks by converting refined metals into marketable products. Most of the risk actually occurs in the market volatility. Either the volatility of the commodity can actually increase or decrease its profitability, or there can be transportation delays or thefts in transporting that material to the end user, or there can be non-compliance or financial regulations or regulatory risks that involves you making sure that those actually refined ores actually meet the standard that can be internationally recognized. Or there can be reputational risks. Maybe the ore was processed, but it was not processed in the right way. All these risks actually makes the downstream operations that the downstream operators actually consider to making sure that you as an entity gets the value for your time and money. In essence, the flow of materials flows from the exploration company down to the refinery, down to the private investor, where you as an individual can now get value for your time. Minerals extracted upstream are quantified and tracked and prepared for the midstream. The midstream involves the refining, the beneficiation, the processing of those materials, ensuring it meets industry standards. For the downstream, is trading, logistics, and delivery to you to actually get the market value of those refined commodities. And this is the whole essence of the mining value chain. Just like in the oil industry, the oil is actually explored, cutting out from the ground, and with the various regulatory agencies, the oil is actually taken and processed using refineries, and it's all actually delivered to the end users, where you buy as PMS, or as kerosene, or as aviation for various entities that actually go into place in giving you a good sense of where this oil that comes from the ground is actually gotten. And it's very interdependent across the entities, because the upstream, the volume of the upstream production will influence the amount that is processed in the midstream. The mining companies, the regulatory authorities are working collaboratively to ensure that both the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors actually work effectively. Even though there may be delayed extraction, there may be processing capacity limits, there may be regulatory approvals, there may be ESG considerations, there may be a lot of bottlenecks that actually come into place, but everybody has to work in union. It's actually interdependent union to making sure that you as the customer, you as the purchaser, you as the investor can actually get the value for your time and money. And okay, where does Dukia Gold actually play in this? Now, I must admit that most people actually get to know about Dukia Gold from our platform, because we have been regularly emphasizing our trading platform. But you as an individual to actually buy Fed investment grade gold, physically deliverable at 999.9 finest. So most people actually know that we play in the downstream industry, whereby we sell the refined products, but that's actually wrong. We actually have the upstream sector, where we actually work with geologists, mining engineers, and consultants to actually do the whole upstream sector for us. We actually have the midstream sector, which the managing director has just opened, that actually takes refining and giving perspective to these activities for you to actually benefit as an end user. And lastly, it will take place in the trading platform, where you can actually buy those users from the comfort of your homes. So these entities, both for upstream, for midstream, and for downstream, are actually played very intensely by Dukia Gold, making sure that the gold that you buy on our platform has been processed and beneficiated in a proper way, and has also been extracted using the right and professional tools. To give us context to what we have been doing or what we have done, and how you can actually be a part of this whole value chain by joining us, we'll actually usher you into the private placements at the end of this presentation. But who are we? We are West Africa's foremost full service bullion merchant and Nigeria's pioneer in full service bullion solutions. We were incorporated in March 2019 by the former vice president, and we established as a mines to market ecosystem mandated to both source, both refine, and both trade precious metals on our trading platform. So we responsibly source these precious metals from the ground, refine them using international standards, and we actually give them to you as an end user, making sure that the gold we actually purchased from our platform is actually incorporated and giving the best value for your time and money. As I said, we've been featured across board, from Business Day to The Guardian to The Independent, Business AM, and more, giving you perspective of how you can actually invest and be a part of us. As following this upstream, midstream, downstream context, we have to actually follow a lot of rules and regulations, and from the London Bullion Market Association guidelines, to ensure that gold refining operations are actually done to the best standards, to the World Gold Council, making sure that the gold is mined ethically, not defrauding, with respect to human rights and environmental protection, and using the OECD due diligence standards to making sure that the supply chain from upstream to midstream to downstream is actually free from conflict minerals, and that gold that is sourced from our platform is responsible and legal. Also, we play in part with the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, making full compliance that all our licensing, all the geological information, all the regulatory information is actually kept in check, making sure that you as an individual can get value for your time and for your money. Remember, in setting financial goals, you have to begin to consider gold as the new bridge, as the new tombstone, as the new setting investment asset for you and your families. And you may not have the luxury of actually buying gold from the middle class, from the endpoint. You may actually want to now play as the upstream or midstream agent, either in helping us to better extract these materials from the ground, because once you're done with the upstream operations, doesn't actually stop. But exploration is a continuous activity for a mining entity. So either you want to play with us in getting better ways to actually source these materials of the ground, or you want to join us in seeking the best and the most internationally recognized tools to refine and beneficiate these minerals into better commodities, or you want to be one of our long-standing customers, either buying these products from our endpoints, you can actually play across these entities in making sure that your goals with your life goals and your life milestones are actually hedged with gold in a very, very certain way. In essence, the first place to start with is to actually create an account on our platform by heading on to new.dukiapreciousmetals.co, signing up, entering your personal information, verifying your BVN and KYC, and completing your registration in a way that actually makes sense for you and your family. To give us context into how you can be a part of our upstream and midstream activities, we'll still discuss more at the end of presentations and as we take on questions. And that is the end of our presentation. I hope with this, you have gotten a better sense of how the mining value chain works. When we talk of upstream, people just reference, oh, it's another industry apart from the mining value chain. But with this presentation, I hope you've gotten a good sense of how the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors are very, very interconnected in making sure that you actually get the best value for your solid minerals that you purchase from Dukia Gold. Thank you, and thank you very much. Question and answers. Okay, if you have any questions or clarifications or suggestions, please let us know.
Again, thank you, Emmanuel, for taking us through a very simple, oftentimes viewed as complex operations. Like we said when we started this workshop, we've taken you through 4 angles of business. We've taken you from looking for gold from the ground, which we will call exploration, to discovering the gold, hopefully in the ground, where you see God's body. We've taken you through mining. A few people will refer to mining as artisanal mining, junior mining, tier 1 mining. Everything about that is just extraction of the ore. The ore doesn't come out of the ground most of the time pure, it comes out with impurities. Therefore, there is a process which is either you are adding value, which they call beneficiation. If all you do at beneficiation is just put it in a pan, put a lot of water in it, try and use gravity to separate the heavy stones away from the light stones, and to hopefully get the concentrate that has this taken it from 2 grams per ton, maybe to 30, 60, 100 grams per ton. You've done beneficiation. From beneficiation, you take it through to a lot of elution and refining before you then take it through what they call the more complex one that brings, if it's gold, to a pure metal, a bar, 99.99% pure. The same process that gold goes through: mining, beneficiation, elution, concentration, refining. Lithium also goes through. Gold, silver, iron ore, all go through it. And then from there, they then make alloys from it. 99% of what you buy as jewelry is not full gold, as we've been very clear to state, is an alloy, which is a particular percentage of gold, perhaps 75%, a particular percentage of copper, if you want it to be rose gold, and maybe some silver and or platinum, just so that if you have it. So if you own a Rolex wristwatch and you bought a platinum Rolex wristwatch, because you know the color is near silver, as it were, but of course silver and platinum don't rank on the same value. They nearly look like each other. But if you wear silver for a month and you wear platinum for a month, you'll know the difference. If you also bought gold and you bought a rose gold wristwatch, you buy a gold wristwatch perhaps with 75 to 77% purity gold, and a lot of it will be copper, some platinum also. The same if you bought a CD and or a Cartier or whatever it is that you choose. When you then get the finished product, you then decide, like I said, if you want to buy jewelry or you want to buy bullion. But as you always know, our own intent is to make sure that you're able to buy a bullion and be able to keep it as a proper store of value. And today, we needed to share the insight from the publishers of In Gold We Trust with you, because as usual, they are speaking at an inflection point. And indeed, given the quality of data that they've kept over the last 20 years and the accuracy with which they have made certain predictions regarding commodities, especially gold, I felt all of us should share in the knowledge perhaps encapsulated in the entire report, but brought to you hopefully in less than 15 minutes. It's clear money will return to its past. And money in the past was basically gold, nickel, shekel, anything you want to call it, was a metal, and silver. Read your Bible, read your Quran, go and read about Mount Zedong, go to the Buddha, anything you want to go to. You will see the history of mankind has always been, when it comes to the store of value and how to transport and give it to the next person, you have to find it in a particular chose in possession, not just chose in action. So he said to us, the future of money lies in his past. And the past of money, as we know it, was the American dollar that was tied to the gold. The pound sterling actually came directly from the gold, which was again kept in London. And the papers were then issued as I promised to give, or I promised to pay £1 of this at a particular quarter. Then you took it at a fraction of a quarter. So cash, as we know it, had always been a IOU, a promise to pay, issued as a bearer bond, and it was given across until it was then basically made into a fiat currency. Even the story of the fiat currency is less than 56, 57 years old. Actually, it's 55 years old. If you take that away from 2026, it will tell you that around about 70s, the American dollar, as we know it, was tied to the gold reserve. And indeed, when the Americans took away their so-called dollar from the gold, the French actually asked for all of their money, which was owed, or any of their asset which was in America, to be sent to them in real gold bullion. So you saw gold leave America for Paris. Again, that has taken place in the last 5-10 years, where most people who stored gold all over the world either moved it out of America, a lot of places, either into Switzerland or back again into London, or actually back to their country. If you read the newspaper, you would also know that even Nigeria had to take part of his gold back away from America and brought it back home. What he said to us is clear. Every central bank is accumulating gold, and they're accumulating gold because they are worried that there might be a new world order. And indeed, right before our very eyes, we are seeing the new world order. And please take it from me. What he repeated to us very casually has taken place. There is a new monetary regime that would change the face of the world. Like I said to you when we started, Turkey has shown us what can happen. The dollar can actually be sold off the balance sheet of a country, just so that they can bail themselves out of the situation in which they find themselves. But most countries will keep their gold asset, irrespective of whatever happens, even when they're faced with disaster. Turkey was faced with an option of raising cash, selling its assets in dollar, and keeping gold. He chose to sell all his assets in dollar and basically only borrowed money against his gold. Again, what did they do? Because they flushed the market with a lot of gold. Gold dipped a bit, but as you know, gold is on its way back. What is also said to us is very clear. Because there's going to be a new monetary policy, there's going to be a new way of managing the physical and monetary space in the United States. They have a new sheriff in town, and that new sheriff in town has said to us bye-bye to quite a lot of things which all of us who read accounting, economics, or are chartered financial analysts will hold on as ceteris paribus. There's nothing that can be seen as constant anymore. I believe and I fear for the future of money, because if Trump chooses as president of the United States to dovetail its tariff and trade war into a monetary policy war, then all of us must be prepared and beware of the unexpected consequences of such an action. We've seen what they've done technically by buffeting the value of the dollar from circa 1.1 to 1.2, even though we all know that they are bleeding at the seams, fighting a war where there is no return. It's interesting that they claim they are able to finance a war from importing somebody else's oil, selling that at a profit and pocketing the change. Surely one day the owner of the money is bound to ask, where's the profit and where's my change? But while the America says might is right, the rest of the world is saying, guess what? Move my asset away from dollar such that at least if anything happens, I don't lose it all. Russia has done that. China is doing that. India is doing it now. South Korea has done it. Even their last of the vassal states, technically Japan, is also trying to find a way out of the dollar quagmire. If all that takes place, what he has said to us is that the old rule of investing 60-40 doesn't work anymore. It's got to be 60-20-20. Whichever advisor you work with, ask him to explain to you in detail what diversifying your portfolio into a 60-20-20 means, especially because it's been recommended put some of your asset in gold and other commodities such that you can survive what is there. Now, what is therefore said to yours and to me and you is that the demand for gold is bound to continue. And it has also shown us that not everyone who ought to be in the game of buying gold is in the room. And because the room is still fairly empty, the market demand has not yet peaked, and therefore there is a lot of room for growth. He has predicted in a very uncanny way that if it's to say that gold will reach $5,000 or $4,800, it has already done it. It will do it again, and it will do it sooner than later this year. And they can only suppress for a little while longer. God forbid if the situation in the Middle East persists till December, surely there will be a huge catastrophe for the world, and every valuation of any currency will be challenged. I think the only person who may be able to say I played my part will be gold. Therefore, he's also predicted that he thinks that gold may go as high as 8,900. And if you were to keep gold maybe for another 20 years or thereabout, the price of gold may actually get up to $20,800. He does not speak on a very flippant basis. This is well researched. This is well thought out. And I'm not saying take his word for it, but at least ask yourself, read more about it, ask your financial advisor, will I be a beneficiary of gold when it gets to 8,900? Or would I be one who heard about it, didn't do anything, and when it then turns to 8,900, you say, oh, had I known? But what is important is the fact that he also called our attention to what Emmanuel has been kind enough to explain to everyone. Get into gold. Get into it in every strata of the value chain. Even if you don't know how to buy the finished product, there is an opportunity for you to buy it before it becomes a finished product. And before you get into a finished product, he has explained to you that there are opportunities for an exploration company to get investors. But he's also explained to you, because it's exploration, there are risks involved. So there are specialized exploration companies that take funds, look for the assets which you and I convert into the finished product, and they get a lot of reward from it. And just like everybody knows, in the venture capital world, sometimes you invest in 10 startups, and maybe one or two of them actually blossom, and maybe one of them blossoms very well in particular. So for those who know how to hedge their risks, consider looking for exploration companies and try and put some money into exploration if you can. But you need to know how to evaluate a good exploration asset company. The second is that he has shown us that apart from exploration, there are people who have completed the exploration. And because they can show you the papers from that exploration work, they are able to say to you, guess what? I have found 50,000 ounces of gold. If it's a one-man business, of course, if you multiply $50,000 by 50,000 ounces by $4,000, that person is bound to say my life has changed. And indeed, it will make sense if that person says I'm an artisanal miner. But between being an artisanal miner or a junior miner or tier 1 miner, what everyone is saying is, I now have the wherewithal, the opportunity to buy the so-called plant machinery equipment and manufacture out of the ground the ore which would eventually be sold in the marketplace. Again, if you can find mining companies, junior mining companies, especially when they are not yet too matured, please find money and put it into their asset, buy shares, borrow them money, do anything, but you are bound to make some money out of an industry where the finished product, at least for gold, is predicted to go as high as 8,900 and maybe up to 20,800. So you will at least be part and parcel of getting part of the slice of the cake, as it were. The third, which he has said to you, is this: inclusive of the exploration and the junior miner or the senior miner, the tier 1 miner or the artisanal miner, they all concentrate their so-called finished product or semi-finished product, whether it's a doré or just a beneficiated or whatever it is, that they all concentrate it into a refinery. Again, not many people have a refinery license. Dukia Gold is lucky. In Nigeria, we own one of the 3 refinery licenses, and God is kind. We now are able to say certainly we can supply you gold with a known provenance, and we can supply you gold with a certificate of conformance, which means that any gold we sell to you, we know exactly where it came from. We know the day it was taken out of the ground. We can actually show you how it went through the beneficiation, the refining process until it turned into a bullion. Therefore, this gold will be a first and world-class bullion every time that we finish the production of it. Again, thank God, thank you all. Like the MD has said, the refinery is now very certain that it's able to say to you, all gold that we will sell from now on will come because it has its mother nature given in Nigeria, and it has only gone through the best of all refining before it sits in the vault of Brinks, so that you can be rest assured that anybody says to you, do you have gold in your hand? It will be gold that you can say with every confidence. It went through the ethical production, it went through an ESG that is qualified with IFC standard, and so on and so forth. So again, if you can find money to buy shares in a refinery, if you find one, what he has also said is try and see if you get a refinery company that can sell shares to you, buy it, because it makes sense. They will be producing at scale, if they can get to scale, products that would yield material value in the precious metals industry. And he has also mentioned the fact that it's not just gold that will increase in value. Silver would increase in value. PGMs would increase in value. Excuse me. After what has happened in the Strait of Hormuz and the fact that everybody now sees that crude is critical, one thing is certain: everybody is pivoting their car lot from petrol or diesel car lot into an electric battery powered car. Every household, everywhere in the world, after this summer, will buy certainly one insurance car, which will be a lithium powered vehicle. Some may buy hydrogen, but certainly most will buy lithium. We also therefore predict and believe that if you were to get a refinery that was producing lithium, or you find a junior miner or anyone producing lithium as a mining company, put some money into it if you can. You are bound to reap the reward eventually. It's shown us that the cash flow of most mining companies is just as good as any tech stock, if not better. It's also shown you that the valuation of most of those companies are undervalued for now. So if you look at the valuation of a Barrick, a Newmont, or any of the so-called streaming companies, they are bound to be very attractive for now, given the potential that they will have over the next 20 years. Again, Emmanuel has shown you that some people will remain as a middleman. They are called streaming companies. They serve as aggregator of what will come finally to the market, or serve as an aggregator of what will eventually be put together and sold or sent to a refinery or perhaps to a bullion trader. Those streaming companies as aggregators are also specialized entities. So again, if you find a company that comes to you with this proper understanding of the business and says, I'm a streaming company, please pay particular attention. And if you can grab a share or two from them, do so. A very good example of a streaming company is Wheaton. Again, when you read about Wheaton, you will understand a lot more about what we have said at today's meeting. If you find their shares, diversify your portfolio by taking on assets in a streaming entity. When all of these people have brought the gold finally, and it's there as a bullion, what we know from what Emmanuel has said is that some people actually pre-purchase this gold and sell it or take delivery after. And because they are able to pre-purchase the gold and sell it thereafter, they buy gold at a fairly better discount, and it's not rocket science. If a bank is going to borrow me money at, say, 17% interest rate, and also charge 3% documentation fee, legal fee, and the rest of them, and my entire borrowing comes to 20%, it may make more sense for me to behave like Dangote and or any other person and say, let me issue a commercial paper. If I issue a commercial paper, I'm certain I'll get my commercial paper at a cheaper rate than 20%. Let's say it's at 15%. And what then happens is that the money which is invested by you basically doesn't suffer the consequence of the overcharge by this financial intermediary because you are doing a direct investment. When they make their cement or manufacture their complex, sell it, they'll give you your cash back. And when they do, of course, you also make more interest than if you are taking your money and put it in just an ordinary savings account. So there are opportunities that would be available and are regularly available also in the mining industry that allows you to pre-purchase assets which will be delivered to you. In certain instances, you can say to the person you are giving your money to, even though I'm giving you my money, I want the final product to be delivered to me also at a fixed price, which makes sense. Because if you were to buy gold at $4,500 today, and you know now that that gold could go as high as $8,900, perhaps it makes more sense if you don't need the cash in the next 1 year or 2 years to actually go and pre-purchase gold for delivery, maybe in a year's time, and also wait for that gold price to go to 8,900. Of course, you get the assurance of your interest rate, which is fantastic. You also get the upside value of gold bought at 4,500, which may end up at 8,900. Of course, if you then sell it on that day, you and I know that you not only get a handsome income from the differential in the price, you also get rewarded at the so-called investment rate, as if you had put your money away, whatever. So you get a dual opportunity from there. All of this would only be good if you say to ourselves, apart from the use of bullion beyond sitting in a vault, what other use do they put this commodity? Like we said, it's useful in jewelry, and the truth be told, nobody is shouting it. Gold, silver, lithium will play a large role in the military industrial complex. It will also play a very, very large role in the so-called IT industry. The next set of computers that will come are called quantum computers. They need to be manufactured with precision. I think they're going to consume a lot more gold than the current iPhone and iPad or Samsungs that you are using. I'm certain that all of us know that there's no iPad or Samsung handheld phone or device that we are carrying that doesn't have a lot of quantity in value for gold. It may look like 1 gram, 2 grams, but if you look at the value of what is inside, gold is perhaps the most active recyclable element in your mobile phone or your television or any of the household electronics that you are carrying. As you move forward, you're going to need more gold and you're going to need more of that. As we get into the advent of humanoids, robots, technically in our house, doing house help work, doing the chore, they're also going to have a lot of gold go into those assets so that they can deliver the command and have no problem with humidity or contact. So buying into a mining company that will produce gold or any of those critical minerals that we are discussing makes a lot of sense. And therefore, putting it all together is just to say the following. Dukia Gold is lucky. We thank the federal government of Nigeria. We repeat our thanks to the Honorable Minister, Dr. Dele Alake. We also thank all the good people in Ondo State, especially the community where we're doing a lot of our active work today in our local government and our local government, Etikpele, Idoani, and so on. We're grateful more to God for his kindness in helping us complete part of our exploration program. We're going to continue. We own a 184 square kilometer exploration area where we're currently working. We're going to extend into nearby opportunities. We will be commencing production by the special grace of God and with the active help of His Excellency, Dr. Orimisan Aye Datiwa, who's been extremely kind and extremely forthcoming in allowing our mines to market dream come true in partnership with the Ondo State government. And again, we salute his understanding of how to make economic governance come to play. We also thank all our quiet financiers, stakeholders, shareholders for their kind efforts. Our next seminar will materially change what we present to you. Again, because the next seminar, the new chairman of the US Federal Reserve would have made his first pronouncements. The summer would have commenced and the elevated price of oil surely would have started to show its face. The first of the December delivery for warming the earth, especially in Europe at winter, would have been purchased at $105 or more, and its implication for an elevated inflation rate and cost of living in Europe or across the world would have shown itself. Whatever was discussed between China and the US would have started to show and take effect. Whatever is being discussed by China and Russia also would have become very real. So we look forward to a very active summer, both in diplomacy and in everything. And you also know very well that Nigeria finally posted a very competent gentleman as our ambassador to the United States. Again, we expect that there will be a lot of rapprochement and improved quality of relationship between Nigeria and the Americas. And what this also means is that funds flow, especially from the Americas, and people who own dollar, who are always afraid of would America sanction me if I put my money in this client, would see that Nigeria then finally gets a green light for any and everybody to put money into our economy. The NGX has just started. We think it would ramp up. So please look out for the better future of Nigeria as an investor. But don't forget, you can't do 60-40 anymore. If you're going to invest, it's 60-20-20. So as you also look to the stock exchange and to the commodities market, look out for gold. I have good news. We've always said it. Dukia Gold will show up on the NASD. We will commence our Ariola gold-backed token. By the special grace of God, that will allow you to pre-purchase gold at a very good price. We will continue with our physically deliverable gold trading program that is already with you. You can buy gold as we speak. And then we would also let you know that our refining and beneficiation process will commence, and therefore would invite you to join us as a stakeholder, shareholder in our mining opportunity as we go forward. Once again, I thank you, Emmanuel. I think we will take questions, and I truly look forward to our next event next year. I also wish you Barika de Salah and a very joyful holiday season for all our men and women of faith. And we believe, by the grace of God, next year will be a much more prosperous time for all of us. Over to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you very, very much, sir, for that clarification and usher us into the private placement. If you have any question concerning either the videos, the placements, or just the presentation that was shared, please you can type it in the chat and I'll just attend to it as quick as possible. I know a lot of people have inboxed me privately and I've actually explained a lot of things to them, but if you have any more questions, please type it in the chat and they will definitely let our answers be known to you.
As you know, while you are trying to answer your questions or type, we will always give you a copy of this presentation. But all we ask is very simple. Please have a Dukia account because this is supposed to be a private members presentation, even though it's available to the public. Once you join, if you are convinced, please go and register yourself as a Dukia client. We're not saying buy $1 million worth of gold or $10 million worth of gold, but take your first leap of faith. Buy, say, 5,000 naira worth of gold, but complete your registration. In completing your registration, you will have everything that you need, and you would also be able to get access to a lot of information. Mrs. Aokwiba, thank you very much for that question. The international card is ready, but what was delaying it is what the MD announced first. When we completed everything, we were then faced with a simple challenge. If we had, say, people trade 100 kg of gold in one day, just for the sake of argument, 1 kg of gold is technically for $145,000, just for the sake of argument. What it will mean is that you trade $145 million worth of product for settlement. If we don't have the gold from Nigeria to block these sales and to present for settlement, we will end up having to go and look for gold from Ghana or London or anywhere else to be able to do it. So all our advisors and everybody who's involved simply says, make sure the gold is available and ready for production before we launch it. So we have only stayed to fine-tune our production locally, so that at no time do we put pressure on the US dollar for Nigeria. We would only be putting pressure on ourselves to make sure that production ramps up to more than 100 kg every month going forward. And that's what our plan is. So you will get your card. That is a certainty. We will also get your card maybe from more than one bank now, because also while we have muted the public marketing of it, we've kept our integration going with a lot of other banks who have shown interest. So the Dukia Gold card is there. What was delaying it was where will the primary stock, if there's an over demand comes. We don't want the stock to come from gold brought in from abroad. We wanted it to be that it's the Nigerian gold that is actually feeding your stock. That has been achieved now. So our ecosystem is ready to ramp, and I believe that that should happen. MD, do you have any additions to it, or Emmanuel?
Chairman, thank you, sir. I think that response is adequate. So essentially, we're going to be linking our gold, the gold mined in Nigeria for that transaction. I think that's what Chairman has explained. And so we are getting closer to the launch of both. And just keep us in your prayers. And I think that will be in about a month or two. We should be able to make progress and make the necessary announcements telling you that all is well and that the pilot has started. Thank you, Ma, for your support and for attending. We appreciate you. Thank you. And Emmanuel, are there other questions?
Yeah, just to thank Sir Nelson.
Sir Nelson, yes.
For congratulating us. Again, your time to help in Nigeria is now. The country needs your expertise, and I continue to thank you for your moral, financial, and technical support. It makes us truly happy that you attend, you listen, you contribute, and we're also grateful for your encouragement. Again, the upstream operations, the downstream operations are all going afoot. The next 2 months are critical for us. We've gone through a lot of cash. We've gone through a lot of hard work, but truly, by the special grace of God, we pray for God's health, good health. We pray for safety for everyone. We pray for the right enabling environment. But we are certain that when we report at the IEC in June and July, it will be with true cheer, and hopefully we would show you the video of the first gold pour, and we would also be able to announce to you the commencement of most of what is in the pipeline. Again, the card is in the pipeline. The gold tokenization program is fully is in the pipeline. And we would also announce some new board appointments, and of course also announce some new executives who have joined us from some of the best institutions in the world. We would show you that truly we are trying to create a world-class company that will not only make Nigeria proud, but will truly rival even the very best that Nigeria has today. Dangote is done exceedingly well for Africa in the oil and gas industry. It's also done exceedingly well for Nigeria and Africa in the cement and limestone industry. We will do the same in the precious metals, polymetallic industry by the grace of God. We are committed to it. The enabling environment provided by the Honorable Minister is extremely kind. The President has been extremely kind also in approving most of our requests. We're going through the last draws of getting all that sorted out. But surely, definitely, June, July will be the extremely exciting time for all of us. And hopefully, you will get to see 100 kg of gold come out of the ground in Nigeria, and perhaps sold to Nigerians. And if Nigerians can mop it all up, Africans and the rest of the world will be able to buy that gold transparently in a market where they are certain it's clean, the provenance is known, the conformance certificate is available, and the ability to redeem the value is always there. Liquidity counts, liquidity matters, and therefore we will continue to watch liquidity and ensure that the markets where we sell or place our products are good and liquid enough for anyone to invest. The rest assured that if he needs his money, he can get his money back. We'll be selling the gold-backed tokens via the NASD. SEC is aware. We're going through the last few things to cross the T's and dot the I's. The SEC, as you know, has approved in principle the platform which we use, and therefore I'm happy to also say that trading platform, whether on the Android platform, on the iOS platform, or the web-based platform, is good and is liquid and is there. So please, for those who need to buy physically deliverable goods, continue your trade. For those who would like to pre-purchase gold for future delivery, get yourself ready. For anyone who wants to invest in a gold mine, please read up on it, be fully informed about it. If you want, please send us a mail. We will then have a private session with you. So on behalf of all of us, I would like to say, can one buy gold and receive certificate of ownership instead of the actual commodity? That's exactly what happens every time. And I'll let Mr. Emmanuel explain himself in detail when you buy deliverable gold and what happens. Emmanuel.
Okay, sir. For people that make the request to actually purchase the deliverable gold, there's no problem with that. The actual problem is actually making the deliverable gold yourself. As you all know, one of our vaulting partners is, the major vaulting partner is actually Brinks. We use Brinks for vaulting all our investment grade bullion, which is headquarters across the world, Switzerland, London, and various places. But if you want to get that deliverable yourself, you will now actually have to follow the delivery procedures, which is actually making a request to Brinks, getting it directly from their vaults and bringing it directly to you, no hassles. But the problem is now, when people actually get the gold at a convenient point in time, they say, okay, I don't need this gold in my bag or in my wallet or in my safe anymore. I need it out of my hands. I need to sell it. So the instance is, okay, they get the gold back to us. And when we get the gold back from you, we have to now take the long process of actually verifying whether that gold is the same way we handed it over to you. Actually making sure that that gold is actually in the same position, in the same way that it was actually delivered to you from our vaulting partners. And those processes are not free. They are very cost intensive. And it's that even after all those processes is done, we don't keep gold directly in the office. We have to take it back to the vaulting partners to actually vault it. And all these hassles have to actually be endured by the consumer. Now, this is why we don't actually, because it's your gold, you make the purchase, it's actually yours, but we highly discourage people from getting it physically. And that was why we had to go through the essence of upstream and midstream. So I'll actually make sure that those gold is actually manufactured and extracted and refined in Nigeria and given to you directly as a consumer. So in essence, you can actually make the delivery to your gold, but the process of linking it back to its vaulting service provider actually comes with a lot of hassles. And this was why the online platform was created, giving you a good sense of how you can actually have quick delivery to your assets. So I hope that long explanation answers your question, Mr. Tunde Akande.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So I will just make a closing remark so that we don't break the law that says this should not be more than 2 hours. Please buy gold. Please buy deliverable gold, physical deliverable. If you don't have money to buy 1 kg, go and find a friend, convince, and maybe join together to buy. But if you don't have a friend you can trust, I would say buy gold by yourself. Start with what they call pool allocated deliverable gold. Buy half a gram, buy 1 gram. Make it a regular habit to buy gold every time. Buy up to an ounce if you can. It makes more sense now. Store it over time. Add to it every month. You'll be very glad that you did. Yes, people will tell you gold is up and down. Such is life. It goes up and down. But the truth is, in what direction is gold going? You've seen there's only one direction that they have predicted. The direction for gold is up. So learn to live life to the fullest. Pray for good health, pray for long life. If you bought a house in Ajegule 50 years ago, you may be surprised that if you sold it today, what everybody called Ajegule is now called Apapa. They called it Apapa Olodi, they called it Apapa, they called it whatever. But because of the population density of Lagos, 80% of that has been cleaned up, and the value of that land and the value of those houses are going sky high. Once upon a time, there was a place called Morocco Sandfield. If you ask anybody who entered Lagos now, where is Morocco? I'm certain that most of them have houses in excess of 1 billion, 2 billion on it. Such also is gold. Buy gold, keep gold. You may be lucky that in your lifetime, it gets up to $20,000 an ounce. How much did you buy it? 4,000, 5,000, and then yeah, everything goes well. So on behalf of all of us from Dukia Gold, I would like to say, see you very soon as an investor in physically deliverable gold. On behalf of all of us at Dukia Gold, I also believe we will see you as an investor in the Ariola Mineral Resource Development Entity. And I also believe that by grace of God, we'll see you as an investor in the Ariola gold-backed tokens. And I pray more important that you would also find the grace of God to provide you the wealth that you'll be able to invest in gold and other assets. And I also pray that Nigeria would continue to survive a very difficult economic challenge which is facing the rest of the world. And so we thank the president for being economically savvy. We thank the ministers, especially the Minister of Mines, for the great work he's doing to ensure that we diversify the income of Nigeria and everything goes well. Once again, thank you very much. This marks the end of this IEC. God be with us till we meet again. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, MD, and thank you. Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shiva, for coming to the presentation. And thank you, everyone, from our stakeholders, customers, and our clients, actually, for taking us through this presentation. We'll see you on the last Thursday of June. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Barika de Salah, everybody.
Barika de Salah.
Barika de Salah.